Hello, we are on the Real Programming channel. My name is Andrei. This is our 23rd lesson. I greet you. We will talk about how to link two elements with ease. You already know how to link to page using either relative links for or URLs. In either case, to link to a specific destination in a page, just add a hash on the end of your link, followed by a destination identifier. So if you wanted to link from any Starbuzz Coffee web page to the chai destination hidden, you'd write your A element link this. Unfortunately, linking to chai tier isn't very impressive because their whole page is small enough that it easily fits in the browser. Let's link to the coffee section of http://bus instead. The main benefit of specific destination is to link to locations in long files so your visitors don't have to scroll through the file looking for the right section. Here's what you're going to do. Figure out the ID of the coffee heading, alter the existing element in the Starbuzz Coffee index.html file to point to the destination heading. Reload your index.html page and test out the link. Finding the destination heading. To find the destination heading, you are going to have to look at the wiki.smart bus page and view their HTML. How? Almost all browsers have view source options. So visit the page and when it is fully loaded, choose the view source option and you'll see the markup for the page. In most browsers, you can right-click to view source. Now that you got your hands on the HTML, scroll down and look. See the coffee section, it looks like this. Just a small snippet from the Coffee and Bus page. Here is the coffee section. You can see the heading for it along with the start of the paragraph below. Oh, and here is the destination heading. It has the name coffee. Revoking the link in index.html. Now all you need to do is revisit the link of Coffee and Bus and end on the destination and core name like this. This is a snippet from the Starbuzz index.html file. The default file at wiki.smart.bus is the index.html, so we'll add that to the URL so we can use it with the destination ID. Add a hash along with the destination, add it to your href. Exercise. Make this change to your Starbuzz index.html file, reload and click on the Coffee and Bus link. You should be taken directly to the coffee section of Coffee and Bus front page. There are now no questions when I have two attributes in an element. Is the other important? For example, should the title attribute always come after the grep? The order of attributes is not important in an element. If it were, we'd all have head h24 on 7. So use any ordering you like. How would I create a tool tip for an element that's not an A element? You can add the title attribute to any element. So if you want to a tooltip on, say, your heading, you can add the title attribute to your h1 opening tag, just like we did with A element. There are few elements that use the title attribute for more than just the tooltip, but the tooltip is its most common purpose. Can I add an ID attribute to any element? Yes, you can. You could link into the middle of a paragraph by adding an ID to an element. For instance, it's unlikely that you'll often need to do that, but you can do it if you want. Could I link to a link by adding an ID attribute to an element in the destination? Yes. I noticed it in the ID names. You use J with all lowercase letters and Coffee and Bus used coffee with an uppercase C. Does it matter? You can use any combination of upper and lowercase characters in your ID attributes. Just make sure you are consistent and always use the same upper and lowercase letters in your hrefs and destination ID, which is why it is often easier to make these names entirely lowercase over time. If you aren't consistent, don't expect your links to work correctly on every browser. The most important thing about the ID name you choose is that it must be uniquely in your page. Can I put a link to a destination from within the same document? Sure, in fact, it's common to define a destination tab at the top of a page, say, on the top heading of the page, and have a link at the bottom of the page reading back to top. It is also common in long documents to have a table of contents of their entire page. For instance, to link to the top destination hidden in the same page, you would write a hash tab back to the top A element. Why did we need to add the /index.html to the bus URL in order to create a link to the destination hidden? Couldn't we have just written http://bus-coffee? No, that won't always work because the browser adds the trailing slash on the end of the URL for you, which could end up replacing the ID reference. You could, however, have written http://bus-coffee, which will produce the same results as the same as the link we created using index.html. It will come in handy if you don't know if the default file is named index.html. If the web page doesn't provide a destination and I still need to link to a specific part of the page, how can I? You can't. If there is no destination, in other words, no element with an ID, then you can't direct the browser to go to a specific location in a web page. You might try to contact the page author and ask them to add one. Even better, they'll tell them how. Can I have a destination ID like JD or does an ID have to be only the word? To work consistently with the most browsers, always start your ID with the letter IZ or IZ small and follow it with any letter, digit, hyphen, underscore, colon, or period. So while you can't use space and have a name like JD, that isn't much of a restriction because you can always have JD, so on. How can I tell other what destination they can link to? There is no established way of doing this, and in fact, uSource remains the oldest and best technique for discovering the destination you can link to. Do I always use just words as the content of an element? No, the element has always been able to create links from words and pages online content, and has recently been updated in HTML5 so that you can create links from block elements like P and blockwater too. So A can be used to create links from all kinds of themes. And the 5-minute mastery solved the case of relatives and absolutes. So how did Red Web Design flop up the demo? Well, because they used URLs for their hrefs instead of relative links. They had to edit and change every single link from http planetrobots.com to http www.robots.com. Can you see error prone at 3 AM o'clock? Someone yammed and accidentally typed http www.robots.com. Oops, someone forgot an S on the end of the name. And as fate has it, that was the same link the seller clicked on at the demo. Correct Web Design, on the other hand, use related paths for all internet links. For example, the link from the company's mission statement to the products page, a href, 2 dots / products.html, works whether the site is called Planet Robots or Robots Rules. So all Correct Web Designer had to do was update the company name on a few pages. So red web design left the demo sleep deprived and with a little egg on their face, while correct web design left the meeting with even more business. But the story doesn't end there. It turns out that red web design dropped by a little coffee house bookstore after the demo and determined not to be outdone picked up a certain book on HTML and CSS. What happened? Join us in a few chapters for the case of brute force versus style. Amazon job linking to the bus site. I know I keep asking for changes, but really this is the last one. Can you make the bus site come up in a separate window when I click on the link? I don't want the Starbuzz page to go away. Link into new window. And we'll talk about that in the next lesson. And this concludes our 23rd lesson. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Like, share with friends. Please comment. Eat bananas, chocolate, and not drink more water for the effective work of our brains. Bye.